Hello again, Brian here. It's wonderful to see you all and thank you for supporting Troop Trot. In this video, we're going to go over 5 of the best tips that we have received from actual users of our leash to help you get started. And the first tip comes from Beth in Oregon, and she says, I have a cockapoo and a dachshund who love walking on this leash. However, when the head rotates, it flips the leashes around, causing them to be opposite of the leash locks. This makes it less intuitive when using them. To solve this problem, I started putting my dogs on the same leash color every time. That way I instinctively know that my dachshund is green and my cockapoo is orange. Well, Beth, thank you for the tip, and it's a great one. We're gonna take a look at that tip in just a little bit more detail. So I've got a Troop Trot here, and as you can see, on the left is the green, and on the right is the orange, which is very intuitive because they correspond with the side that the leash is on. But if this flips, now the lock is opposite of the leash that it actually controls. So if you always put one of your dogs on the green side and your other dog on the orange side, or vice versa, you'll just know instinctively, as Beth said, that hey, this dog is always green no matter what side it's on, and this dog is always orange. So thanks for the tip. Moving on to tip number 2, it comes from Susan in Texas, and she says, one of my dogs is 10 years old. My other dog is 2. The younger dog always jumps on and pesters the older dog, who is very laid back in his age. If I keep the younger dog's leash shorter than my older dog's, he can't reach him. So my older dog can explore without getting jumped on, and my younger dog eventually realizes he can't reach him and gives up. Another great tip, and let's dive in. So for those of you who have one rambunctious puppy like Susan does, you can always leave this lead fully extended at 10 feet and this lead, say, shortened at 6 to 8 feet, so that this lead can't ever reach the full extension of this lead. So this dog can get away from this dog if he's being a little too over-eager with the other one. Thanks for the tip, Susan. The third tip comes from Anna in California, and she says, sometimes the head of my Troop Trot won't spin, but if I just flick my wrist, it will straighten back out. Makes walking my Chihuahuas a breeze. Well, thanks for that tip, Anna, and I know exactly what you mean from walking my own dogs. So I'll add a few clips to showcase what you're talking about. Tip number 4 comes from Kristen in Missouri, and it says, if I pull my poo bags away from me, sometimes the holder falls off. So I always pull them towards me to dispense. Thank you for that tip, Kristen. Let's look at it a little closer. So to expand on Kristen's tip a little bit, this poo bag holder just slides on here. And so when you have a new bag, there's a lot more tension inside here because it's thicker. And so you want to pull the bag towards you to dispense it, not away from you like that. So you just pull it towards you like that. Once you get to the end, you just easily rip it off and you're good to go. Thanks for the tip, Kristen. Tip number 5 comes from Julie in Louisiana, and she says, my beagle is a super sniffer, so she frequently stops and ends up behind me while my other dog continues forward. She will cross my back and wrap me up. Now, if she is staying in one place too long, I lock her leash and move her forward to keep her in front of me. That's a great tip, because with the Troop Trot, since there's 2 leashes, you always want to keep your dogs in front of you. If not, you become the middle of a circle that you can't get out of. So let's take a little bit closer look at this tip too. To help with this tip, let's imagine you have 2 dogs on your leash. Over here is 9 o'clock and over here is 3 o'clock. You always want to keep your dogs in front of you with the Troop Trot, and I'll tell you why. So if you're walking along and you have a dog who's continuing to move forward and one who stops to sniff something, you now have broken that plane that you want to maintain. And so if this dog over here wants to go this way, you will now be wrapped up in a circle on your leash. So if you have a dog who's starting to break that plane, lock his leash, tug him forward, and get him going back in the direction that you want in order to prevent getting wrapped up in a circle. Thanks for the tip, Julie. Moving on. Now I know I said only 5 tips, but I can't help but give you a bonus tip, although this is really a question, and it comes from Amy in Maine, and she says, hey Brian, I took my dogs out in the rain and now my leash smells moldy. Any suggestions? I love the leash and my dogs love it too. It's always good practice, Amy. If you take your dogs out in the rain, when you come inside, extend the leads all the way and lock them into place. And that'll give the leads time to evaporate that water, because you don't want all that water sitting in the head of the Troop Trot, because that's where the mold comes. Now, since you already have mold, you can mix 1/3 part distilled white vinegar and 2/3 part water. Extend your leads and submerge it in that mixture. You don't want to put the whole head in there, but just the leads themselves, and let it sit in there for about a day. When it's done, pull your leads out, let them dry off, and that should help reduce the smell of some of that mold that you have in there, Amy. So thanks for the question, and I hope this helps. Well, that concludes our 5 tips video. I hope this was helpful. I want to thank everyone who submitted a tip and emailed me. If you have a tip, you can email me too at brian@trooptrot.com. That's BRIAN@trooptrot.com. If you want to visit the store, you can go to trooptrot.com, or you can visit the Facebook page at facebook.com/trooptrotstore. Once again, my name is Brian. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope to see you soon.